Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror thriller Aftermath, a film that is co-written and directed by Peter Winther, and it stars Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore. Now this film focuses on a young married couple that are struggling to rebuild their marriage after one of them is unfaithful. Shawn Ashmore's character Kevin kind of works as like on a cleaning team that cleans up after crime scenes, and there's this one particular house where there's been like a murder-suicide. He cleans it up, and wanting a fresh start following the advice from their therapists, he proposes to his wife that they make an offer on this house because they want rid of it, basically, the family, because of the bad memories. They accept the bid, they move in, and guess what? Things start happening to cause all sorts of upheaval in their lives that start to become more and more sinister as time goes by. Right, what are my thoughts on Aftermath? This film, for the most part, is a dumpster fire. We'll get there in the end with the fire. It is, pretty bad, this film. Let's get some of the positives out first. It's got good production values. You know, it looks, like it's got some money spent on it, all that kind of stuff. The performances are all fine by everybody. I believed the marriage and the relationship between Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore, this couple that are at odds with each other because of what had happened in their marriage, the arguments, the genuine moments of affection, all that kind of stuff. That all kind of worked for me. What didn't work for me is, well, where do I start? I think this film presents itself as a pretty generic haunted house film for much of the film. And that's okay to some degree, it would have been, it might not have really affected the score that much if that's what it turned out to be. However, the big twist at the end, and I'm not going to, obviously spoil anything, the big twist that it gives you at the end was so far out of left field, was so unearned, it destroyed the film even further, in my opinion. I just thought this film thought it was cleverer than it was. So it sets up being a really dull, generic haunted house movie. And it thinks it's clever. It thinks it's got this ace up its sleeve that it shows you late in the movie. And it just leaves you scratching your head and just absolutely jaw on the floor as if to say, really? That's it? Because the ending it gives, the reveal it gives, makes no sense, and there are no narrative threads pointing at it. So it's completely unearned. Completely. Unless you're Sherlock Holmes or somebody, you'd never be able to figure it out. The breadcrumbs that they leave to lead you to it are ridiculous. They really are. And as for me, I was already not really enjoying it up to that point, and then when that happened at the end, I was like, okay, I've checked out with this film now. I can't believe they're going there with it. But to say nothing of the fact that it's a good 50 minutes in the film before anything you could consider anything significantly spooky happens or scary. And then it's another 25 minutes after that until something else happens that you could call significantly spooky or scary. It's just dull. It drags. It's slow-paced. It is more of a thriller and a relationship drama than it could ever be described as a horror. There was a couple of interesting moments in the film that I think they could have developed better. It just, for me, for the most part, didn't work. And there were some characters surrounding these two, like Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore's character were most grounded and realistic. Everybody else that surrounded them were caricatures, poorly written characters. Ashley Greene's sister in the film was like, the generic privileged, sister, is blunt and honest about everything, etc., etc. The two co-workers that work with Shawn Ashmore are way over the top and unbelievable as real people. You don't buy them. And that, for the most part, is a lot of the characters in this film, they're poorly written, they're poorly fleshed out, and you don't believe them as real people. There's only two characters that work on some level, and that is like the marriage level, and that's Shawn Ashmore and Ashley Greene. It's a shame because the film did show some reasonably early potential, you know. There's nothing wrong with like a generic haunted house film, you know. A young couple moves into a new house with a dark past, and then things start happening. You know, if you've got talent, you can make that work. And this reminded me of that other Netflix film. Oh, the name's just gone out of my head. A couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, one of my earlier reviews on the channel about that family in that house, and you know things start going awry, and the ending that one gave was probably worse than this, to be honest. But this wasn't much better. So I would say, guys, avoid this one. It's on Netflix, so if you've got nothing better to do and you want to watch something, it's maybe you want to check it out. But for me, I think this was a bit of a dumpster fire. Didn't work really on any of the levels it tried. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will be back, of course, with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.